And joining me now, Notre Dame head coach Mike Brey. And Mike, I want to go back to last March because of all the great games that we have every year in March Madness, and certainly had last year, it was arguably, I think, maybe the greatest game in terms of competitive entertainment that you had against Rutgers in Dayton in the first four. Unbelievable game. What do you remember most about that matchup?
Well, and you're right, Andy. I've had many people say that may have been the best game of the tournament right out of the gate. First of all, I didn't know what to expect going into the first four. It was our first time in it. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Rutgers people there, our people there, a great arena where everybody was on top of you, and then two teams just throwing punches and going at it and making big plays and making tough shots. So it was just, an amazing memory. And again, I think when I look back at all the games, and there were great games in the tournament, I don't know if anything was that good. And I don't know how many coaches in the summer said, now that was unbelievable. So very exciting. You remember, and it's funny, I have a case back here. Remember my comment about Irish whiskey, on the plane. I've gotten more whiskey sent to me through the off season, Andy. I got all kinds of stuff back here. They finally are delivering for me.
Well, and I know you remember this, but the game finished past midnight, which of course was St. Patrick's Day. So the luck of Irish, you didn't need luck. You guys won that. It wasn't a lucky shot or anything like that. All right. So that game also, and that run, to me was another indication of what you've built for decades at Notre Dame, of a team that got better and better and better, wasn't thought of as a team that could win a game or two in the NCAA tournament. How much did last season sort of epitomize what you've built there of those kind of developmental teams that get better throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, it was really a neat experience. Like we needed to get back in the tournament. I needed to be back in the tournament. We all needed that. I mean, the business, we're all evaluated by your March Madness appearances. And then to get there and advance. And, we had a great young one in Blake Wesley. We had veterans. And it was really fun to watch the leadership and everybody come together and then get confident. Really, after the Kentucky game here, which we won at the buzzer, we started to feel like, wow, maybe we got one. So, it was energizing. And I think it has jump-started some momentum for us again here, especially with what we have returning 5 fifth-year guys.
So let's just talk big picture here about this Notre Dame team and within the ACC. A lot of turnover again. That's the era that we live in. But Notre Dame is a program that's high academics. You have to be selective in the transfer portal, which you were with Paul Atkinson from Yale. So how have you been able to navigate, these rebuilds, these retools, and stay, competitive and tournament, potentially tournament bound in this new environment at a school that prides itself on making sure they get the right people who fit academically?
Well, there's no question that, our template has kind of stayed consistent, 4 and 5 year guys. Blake Wesley was my first one and done guy. Of course, I may have another one now in Starling. It's funny how things change, but for the most part, our nucleus has been guys getting older together, growing up together, playing together. And so when you have an older group or a nice rhythm to your roster, here comes the next group of seniors, they really help you lead. They help me run the program. And so that has stayed consistent. And I think then you're like you said, Paul Atkinson, we've been smart. Marcus Hammond this year is a 5th-year grad transfer from Niagara. And he's going to be a really good guard for us too. So picking our spots. Our pool to pick from is smaller because of our academics, and that's okay. We get it, we know it, and but I just think the rhythm of having some upperclassmen has not really changed, even though there may be a transfer here or a one and done there. There's a nucleus of guys moving through the program, and that's kind of helped us stay who we are.
Yeah, and to that point, Mike, the shadow of football obviously casts pretty large. You have navigated multiple coaches, some ADs throughout the course of your career there. How has your group been able to consistently avoid the pressure of expectations and sort of find your way throughout the course of a season?
Yeah, no, I think that's I think when you have great kids and again, the kind of guys, that's why I've never really been interested in coaching anywhere else. I love the kind of clientele of young men that we attract here. Really sharp young men, really driven young men. And you have an element of, we're going to hang in there even though we lost 3 in a row in January, coach, and it's snowing. And what do you got for us today? I have found that to be, really a neat aspect of this. So hanging in, never getting too high, never getting too low. I guess at this point in my career too, trying to keep kids smiling a little bit and loose and playing and shooting it. When you're at this point in my career, I can do that more confidently than your early part of your career. And we've known how to play. I have a sign, Andy, I put a sign up. This is how I've simplified, my first team meeting now as a veteran coach. Sign up in the locker room. Don't skip class. Don't throw the ball away. You and I will get along just fine. That's it. Then I walk out of the room and they talk about workouts and lifting and gear. That's it right there. And you and I are going to be good if we can start with those two.
Well, I've always quoted you, and I give you credit, get old and stay old. And I think it is true. I don't care what school you're at.
Okay.
That is the recipe to win big in college basketball right now. All right. Lastly, Mike, Gotham Classic in the New York area. You're going to play the Bonnies. What is it about Notre Dame in that New York area that you've consistently, and predates you obviously with Digger, making sure Notre Dame gets back to New York?
Well, it's important for us because we lost the Big East New York footprint, getting back through there regularly in the Big East tournament. And it is a great Notre Dame town. And I need our people to get out because I can tell you the Bonaventure people will be there. I know that. So our people need to get out there. It's get away from football season and come over there for me. We need you because we're going to play a heck of a program. And as you and I both know, Mark Schmidt's one of the best coaches in our business. And I know they lost all these men, but I bet they still have men. I'm afraid to look at their roster. I know he's got guys, and I know he can really coach. So that's a great matchup early, I think. But being in New York for Notre Dame, I have missed that, not being in the Big East. And I think our fans have. So I think it's great to get back through Gotham.
Hey, Mike, I appreciate it. Love catching up with you, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon, my man. Take care, Andy.